sakura blooms in April. I think I'm very lucky to witness this over here in Kazakhstan. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Hiking with QS, and guess where I am? In a very unique location. We are in Kazakhstan. Right now I'm in Almaty, and this is the big Almaty Gorge. This is a tourist center over here. It's called Ayusai, and this is a station just right before the journey to the big Almaty lake. But today I'm not going to the big Almaty lake. You need a special transport to be able to get in because the road is pretty much being closed by some authorities. So today we are going to do some simple hikes around this gorge. You can see there's a horse right there. Beautiful mountains. Today is a cloudy weather. This trail that I'm going to attempt today is called the Old Japanese Trail. It's about 15 kilometers. It's going to take about 3 to 4 hours to complete. The Old Japanese Trail apparently is built by old Japanese prisoners back in the days. Over here you can buy some drinks, you can buy some souvenirs from the souvenir shop, and there's also a toilet. And I have just used the toilet and I think I'm ready to go. So the way is to go towards the car park, and we are gonna follow the road down, and we are gonna go into the road that people say the taxi can't drive you in. I'm not sure why, so we're gonna take a look. So how do you get here to the Ayusai Tourist Information Center? There are two ways from the city of Almaty. One way is by taking a bus, and the bus apparently only costs 200 tenge, pretty much less than $1. That's the cheapest way to get here, but it's gonna take you 1.5 hours just for the public transport. What I did this morning from about 9:30 a.m. is a taxi. In Almaty, they use an app called Yandex, and it only costs 3,000 tenge. That's a little bit less than $10. The transport costs aren't as high if you're coming from other parts of the world, but of course their median wage here is lower, so for them I think it's pretty much still quite costly to take a taxi. The taxi will only drop you right up to the point of Ayusai. If you're heading to the big Almaty Gorge, you can take an electric bike which is rentable right behind me, and I think it costs about 20,000 tenge just for 2 hours. A bit costly over there. If you are renting it for the whole day, it's 45 to 50,000 tenge, but that pretty much gives you an access without having to walk 11 kilometers into big Almaty Lake. So we have reached the entrance to the Old Japanese Historic Trail. There's some English words over here. The Old Japanese Way. 7.87 kilometers, 520 meters altitude. They call it easy, apparently. Okay, then some description of the place. And this is a relief map. And this is the sign saying that you should turn in over here. There's a bridge, and this is the beginning. It's gonna be a workout in the morning. Let's go. The bridge looks a bit unstable. The metal looks a bit rusty, but it is actually quite safe. So far the ascent has been quite gradual. It's not very steep. This path seems relatively easy for hikers at the moment. I'm hoping it stays this way so that I have the most amount of time to explore and appreciate the scenery around here. And right in front you can actually see snow-capped mountains. I believe they are the big Almaty Peak and the tourist peak right in front. These are near the big Almaty Lake. That's way more deeper than where I am. If you are coming in summer, these peaks will be more accessible to hike. But in winter, you will need to gear up for snow hiking. But right now at this elevation, which is about 1,700 or 1,800 meters, we have a very clear path and it's pretty easy to walk so far. Behind me you can see some wild horses. This is a rare sight in Kazakhstan. I reached the top of the ascent, and from this point onwards, basically it's undulating and quite flat. So it's a very nice walk. You can see how the path winds along the mountains. From this point, you can also see my starting area, the Ayusai Tourist Information Center, and the dam right behind it. That's where we came from. And there's a winding path. We'll continue for about 7 kilometers. I think it's gonna take about 2 hours with a lunch break in between. So in April, most of the ice has already been melted at this altitude of 1,800 meters. So there's a little structure over here. I believe it's also built by the Japanese prisoners. Seems like a cave or something. But we are gonna have to jump across the water. Time now is about 12. I started the ascent a little close to 10:40. By 11, I reached the top of the ascent, and now the clouds are closing in. I'm really hoping that it's not gonna rain and the weather holds up. It's time for a lunch break. This feels like almost the halfway point of where I'm going. And this is a path where it actually turns right, but I'm going to go forward. If you're interested in more peaks to ascend to, there's 2 peaks over there. There's 2,200, 2,300 meters tall. If I continue walking this way, we can see the city of Almaty right ahead of us. And for some reason, there's also some music at the bottom in the valley. Right now it's 1 o'clock. And we are beginning the descent. It's more foresty over here, more trees, more covered. But still a very gentle descent at the moment. Throughout this hike in April, you can expect a temperature of around 10 degrees. A very comfortable temperature if you're hiking. If the wind blows, it can get quite cold, so make sure you have your jacket with you. I guess the true beauty of the old Japanese historic trail is this sakura blooms in April. I think I'm very lucky to witness this over here in Kazakhstan. Right now we're gonna pass by some horses. Hope they are okay with humans. The descent of the last stretch of the old Japanese trail is a little bit steeper, but it's a good thing because it's all quite firm mud. So you will pretty much be able to grab your shoes. Not as slippery. This should be the last half an hour to the road. This is the end point. After coming out from the forest area, there are some dogs herding some sheep, and it might feel a bit intimidating because the dogs are not actually enclosed. They will just keep barking, but as long as you are minding your own business, it will be safe. So right now I'm gonna head to the main road to catch a taxi back to the city. And this has been a good hike so far, the old historic Japanese trail. I'll see you in the next episode of Hiking with QS.